because I was
Yep.
little.
Steve Zungul for
Who
sure.
did he play for?
New York Arrows and the San Diego Sockers and the Tacoma Stars.
There you go. You see, so I have these visual memories of watching these guys step on the ball and do all these certain things that the average players didn't do, and it led my family. So, like, I'll fast forward a little. My father went to prison for 15 years, and during this time, my mom, the angel, Pamela, she's a Native American, mixed Irish, Dutch, Scottish, whatever was happening down south family. Once they mixed, my mom was the one that took us to soccer.
Wow.
And my uncle built an indoor facility called Total Sports, Total Soccer, with his partners, Paul Tinian and Brian Tinian. Brian Tinian and Gus Moffitt played for the Express. My uncle was kind of like the driving force behind it. And what they did is they teamed up and they built one place, then two, then three, then four, then five. And then they got some bigger partners. They got the banks in the 80s to actually see soccer as a viable business and to create a model that was sustainable and that was not only sustainable, but, had the ability to grow and could be replicated in other cities in a very effortless way. And lo and behold, even though no one thinks of Detroit as some of the driving force behind arena soccer, it hasn't, ever since it hit America, which is pre-MLS. Right. Our family's been involved in providing, like, if you think of some of the guys that I played with, like Sean Bowers from and Randy Prescott and Pato Marhetic and Andy Chapman and all these guys that come from an older era. Well, this era is pre-MLS, which many don't even remember. It's like an era that got overlooked. And all the top players, I actually got drafted from Oakland University. And my family here not only built those indoor facilities, but we also were instrumental. My Uncle Paul was instrumental in developing these youth clubs that are nationally ranked, called the Michigan Wolves and Hawks. And they're academy clubs, like MLS type clubs. And our youngest brother, Mario, who's the co-owner of Waza Flow and a player and a coach, me and Mario and our youngest brother, Valentino, were all together in this Waza Flow. And then our youngest brother broke off with his partners and started this other club, the Nationals, which are one of the largest clubs in Michigan. So now what has happened is there's a division for the men, which is the Michigan Bucks. The Michigan Bucks are in the USL, and they've probably sent over 100 and something players into the MLS. So our uncle and the Duggins, who are the family that are the mayor to the city of Detroit, are the ones that keep the highest level outdoor, besides which you may be familiar with, which is the DCFC, Detroit City Football Club, which gets 10,000 fans per game for their league. And we've got former Waza Flow players who is their starting keeper. And so what has happened is our arena, even though the arena is an unrespected sport from a larger perspective of it, let's just say the MLS and all these A-listing sports, the arena soccer has provided this vehicle that not everyone is aware of, that has provided players to the MLS, from the MLS all the way to futsal teams in other countries. There are players from Mexico, players from all over the CONCACAF, that are players from Europe that are here, playing in the arena league that everyone in America wants to go to Europe to play, and there's still players in 2024 attempting to come to the United States for their opportunity to live their way of life. Wow. So I know I'm skipping around a little bit, but if I go back to the youth level, my brother and I, Mario, we had to figure out a way to help sustain, because all the leagues, whether, we've been a part of the leagues from the NPSL with the Detroit Rockers, which our uncle was the owner of that. where I got to meet and play with Sean Bowers and all these guys as a rookie. And it was a different era. It was a different era. Remember you could, when we crossed that line, you couldn't go back.
Right.
So it was some high level, high impact soccer. And there was guys making hundreds of thousands of dollars playing arena soccer still.
Wow. So from the NPSL, so you started playing professionally in the NPSL as a rookie. As you mentioned, Sean Bowers was one of your teammates, and of course, he has been the general manager for the San Diego Sockers, but now he's working for Front Wave Arena. And he's sort of organizing that outfit with a new Front Wave Arena in San Diego. I believe he's also involved in futsal as well. Oh yeah, he's got futsal.
He's heavily involved in the community.
Yeah, he's got Futsal 619, which is his organization, which has a bunch of teams and tournaments that are operated. Dominic, from the NPSL, what was your next step?
From the you know what? We went from Rockers days into the era of what is that league, Greg? The AISA with the Border Stars and all. Right. We were playing in the CPSL outdoor at one point as the Border Stars, and then we were playing in this arena league, and we won those leagues, and we went on to become founders. Mario sat on the board of the founders of the PASL with Kevin Milliken, which regardless of everyone's political differences, Mario and I have always been like Switzerland. we straight up, okay, we'll sit at the table. I know some people at the table wouldn't invite me to their house for dinner, but when we go to a public restaurant, I'm here to look out for you regardless.
That's outstanding. Hey, listen, before we go any further, Dominic, I want you to look at the screen. John Quintera, you remember John Quintera? Sure. Happy holidays to both.
Oh my gosh, I love him.
Yeah, right.
He's amazing. He's a legend. That's a legend. If he's on this, let me tell you, I feel honored to even be speaking in front of him. As a matter of fact, I probably need to take a public speaking course from him. Remove all the little things from your voice that he's mastered.
Oh, absolutely, right.
He knows every trick in the trade. He should actually probably have a podcast on how to use your voice and speak with like the proper, tone and inflection and pause and all that. I mean, on top of that, he's a great human being in general.
He's a great guy. I ran into him at the Front Wave Arena the other night for the Sockers opening game, and so that was pretty fun to bounce into him. He's a great guy. So you guys are in the PASL.
Does he still have his show?
Yes, he does. He does a podcast on San Diego sports. Absolutely.
That's great. Okay.
It's very cool. And I love listening to him. I've been listening to him for years and years and years. So you guys are in the PASL. You're one of the charter members when the PASL goes pro and they're the PASL pro. But I think there was also, if I recall, there were 2 seasons that at least 2 where the PASL had what they called the North American Championships, and the finals included a team from Mexico, and it was always. And I remember that's when the Sockers came back.
That's right. And then I was actually playing for the national team, and they were doing events during those days. Like they were putting on, like there was the guy Christian from Montreal, and there's the guys that were putting on these, like they were built, like he built a stadium in Montreal for Canada Day, and our national team went there and played in front of 7,000 to 10,000 people. Right. They were doing a lot to actually promote the national team at the time, even though there wasn't at that moment a proper World Cup. But they eventually, we actually participated in the first Arena World Cup ever.
Right. So Yeah, so you
I think we're
guys,
having I'll have to apologize to all our watchers. I think we're having a little lag in the
there's a
internet
little bit of
here,
a
but I can still
there's a
hear
little,
you.
yeah, there's a little bit of a glitch, but no, we're hearing you pretty good. Um, so then when I met you, so now we're about the point where I met you. You were playing and coaching the Detroit Waza Flow, and you guys, I lost them. Dang it. So in the meantime, while he's figuring his way back on the screen, let me just identify with you guys that we've been working on this for about an hour and a half, and I see that I'm glitching a bit as well. But we've been working on this for about an hour and a half, trying to get him on, and he actually came on originally about 10 o'clock. Actually, it's been more than an hour and a half. About 10 o'clock in the morning here in San Diego time, and we had him, and then we lost him, and then I had him with screen, black screen, and audio, and then I had a good picture and no audio, and we've been bouncing around with this for a little bit. So I'm sure he'll come back in here in a minute. Dominic Scicluna is a really fun guy to talk to, and he's got a great history. So I'm going to keep this running until he comes back in. In the meantime, let me do this. In the meantime, let me talk about some of the MASL3, because the MASL3 is the league that the Detroit Waza Flow, which Dominic is the head coach and owner of the team. He's also a player still. And the MASL3 is the league that his team plays in. There are 27 teams, and I'm only familiar with a couple of them. This is last week I had the MASL3 president on, and we spoke about it in general terms. And I thought it would be kind of fun to take a look at, because Dominic and I have some history. We were just about to get back on this when I lost him. We were gonna just start to talk about when we met. The Detroit Waza Flow had come to San Diego to play the San Diego Sockers in the PASL championship. Joey Capinos, I believe, was the goalkeeper at the time, and they were playing in Del Mar. I think it was the first time we saw them, was the last time that the Sockers played in Del Mar at the Del Mar Equestrian facility before they went down to Pechanga Arena, and which at the time was Valley View Casino Arena or something to that effect. And yeah, so I was in the stands early in the game, during the game, and I mean, you can't miss Dominic. I mean, he comes all flamboyant and jumping onto into the stands, and there might have been 30 people in the stands at the time because it was early before the game started. And he went up to each one of the fans in Del Mar, north of San Diego, and introduced himself and started a conversation. And I just felt like we hit it off. And so I sort of became something of a Detroit Waza fan during that period of time. I just thought he was such a fun guy and a class act. And then of course he would do halftime shows with his ball skills on the middle of the field. Here he's been playing the whole game, and now he's doing the halftime show, and then he's playing the whole second half as well. So that was good. And it was in the Detroit Waza Flow played a tough game, man. It was a good match. San Diego won. And then the following year was we were just talking about John Quintera. He was on a minute ago as with a comment here, and John was the general manager of the San Diego Sockers at the time, and he was instrumental in getting the Sockers back down to the arena in San Diego, which is of course where they played back in the 80s. And during the heyday of the MISL and all that stuff, and it was fun to move the outdoor. The equestrian facility in Del Mar was an indoor facility in the sense that it had a roof, but it didn't have walls. It had a roof that was posted up on big giant stilts, I guess you'd call them, columns, and but it was open air. So there on the coast in the wintertime, it got kind of cold and wet. But we moved, and it was maybe 3,000 fans, I'm gonna guess, but I don't know if they ever had that many. And then the Sockers moved down to the San Diego, what was the sports arena, Pechanga, Valley View, whatever it was called then. And the first competition again was the championship with the San Diego Sockers. I've got Detroit. There he is, back on the screen again. Hopefully we have audio. Do we have audio? Well, I'm hearing you try to talk. Yeah, there you are. Okay. I was just explaining, Dominic, the difficulty that we were. I was just explaining the difficulty we've been having all day making this happen. So I appreciate. I knew you'd bounce back in. Say something to me and make sure we got audio. I can hear you. I can hear the mic, but I can't hear your voice. No, it sounds like you got to say something to us, buddy. Can you hear? Okay. Hopefully I don't lose him again. Anyway, I'll have him. I'll have him. We've been having this difficulty all day. He's just been having such a rough time finding a good connection. But yeah, so the next season, and we'll have him talk about it in a minute, but the next season was the first year in San Diego Sports Arena again. And there again for the championship of the PASL was the Detroit Waza Flow and Dominic Scicluna and his gang. So, okay, so here, now I got another one. Let me see if I can do this. Okay, I got another link. Okay. I can hear you moving around. You need to say something.
Okay, well, it's just started working again.
Good, perfect. Okay, no problem, Dominic. Let me sort of rehash what I've been talking about while you've been off. I was talking, and this will be fun to get your side of the story because the viewers have my side of the story, so it's going to be pretty fun. So we've been talking about when you and I first met at the Del Mar Arena. I mentioned how it was the first time I had ever seen you, and you come hurtling into the stands with maybe 30 people in the stands at the time because it was way before the game, and started going around introducing yourself to everybody. And you and I ended up talking for a little bit. Then, of course, the game that took place in Del Mar for the championship, and then the move down to San Diego, and you guys showing up again in San Diego for the championship. So, share a little bit about that time frame from your perspective.
Oh my God, I'm going to need your memory because of so many years of soccer. However, is that the year that Cheeky Luna caught our guy in the face with an elbow? Was that the first year?
It may have been. Well, I don't know if that happened in Del Mar. I do, but I don't know if that happened in Del Mar or if that happened in San Diego.
I can't remember because we can't remember. So, we were fortunate enough to come back to back years and battle each other.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
I can't remember which year it was. Mario, you remember which year? Oh, it was the second one. Okay. Yeah. So listen, here's all I remember. I remember walking in the arena and then realizing how ridiculously passionate of a history. Like I knew all the players I'm playing with, because Mario and I were so much older than everyone.
Right.
Like they had no idea what we were stepping into. And then without saying it, I'll say it. We weren't just playing San Diego Sockers that day. There's a whole host of things that you have to play against. Mario, was that the first year or the second year where like a brawl almost took place and the fan followed us into the locker room and punched Daryl right in the face, our goalkeeper? That's the second year. So the second year was wild. Okay. The second year was really wild, but even the first year, the anticipation that built up, the fact that we were playing the legends, the San Diego Sockers, what many people don't understand is San Diego Sockers isn't just an arena soccer team. They're one of the only teams, even though I didn't play for them, every player I've sent to them has gotten signed. So Mario and I have worked together to get players in this mentality that once you're ready, you can actually go to the very best teams, and then we can, go from there. and it will open up doors from all the moves that we've all made over time and the respect that we've earned, and that which would lead us into what WAZA means in the first place, but we can get into that later. However, with the San Diego Sockers in general, Mario and I knew what we were up against. We didn't have the budget that they had and everything else, or the history, and yet we were able to assemble a bunch of guys from all over the world with a bunch of guys that, you know, like Albanians and Latinos and Europeans and Asians, and we're known as like the melting pot,
Right.
and so we had some small sponsors at that time, more than we have even now pre-COVID, that were, you know, and the thing is here in Michigan, we have a huge youth culture of soccer that takes it very serious. We've had many players from Michigan make the national team. Players that have come from here or spent time living here, like the Pulisics and the Brian Mazonoff and Alexi Lawless. My club team, I grew up, was with this club named Vardar, and our uncle created this Michigan Wolves and Hawks. They're like the two super clubs. It'd be like saying this, remember back in the day when San Diego Surf was the top youth club, like years ago. Now there's probably quite a few clubs that we could mention that are all right there. So times are changing, and how does that affect things? Well, those are the people that come and want to watch you guys and everybody and all of our players play MASL and MLS and everything else. Where Mario and we realized that the gap was that once MLS was here, that and it's not its fault, but MLS only focuses on MLS, and really it should include everything under its umbrella.
We lost him again. Dang it. Dang it. Well, we'll get back. He'll pop back in. So he was kind of going off on a rabbit trail, but that's kind of fun. And he's got so much to say, and there's so much that I was really excited when Dominic agreed to do the show today. Because he's just got a wealth of information and experience and interactions with different people and players throughout the years. And he's right. The PASL Pro Championships that took place in San Diego versus the Detroit Waza Flow, these were the years, maybe 3 and 4 years prior to the merger acquisitions between the PASL and the MISL 3. That is what made the MASL. And one of the things that was pretty fun about the Detroit Waza Flow, and we're going to mention, I'm going to mention some of this stuff in case we don't get there in the conversation, but I'm going to mention some of this stuff as we go. One of the distinctions for the Waza Flow was that they were charter members of the PASL Pro circuit, and that was very cool. I mean, they stayed with that. Lots of teams came and went. There's a lot of attrition all the time, right? Especially at that point in time, there was a ton of attrition of teams coming and going. And the Waza Flow kept in there all the way through till the merger with the informing of the MASL. So they were an M1 team. There really weren't, if I recall, there wasn't an M2, and there certainly wasn't an M3 at the time. So and they participated in the MASL 1, and then I believe they were a charter member of the MASL 2, and then recently they played a season, I think just one, but maybe two, in the MLIS, and now they're in the MASL 3. So the distinction is for the Detroit Waza Flow, among the 27 teams that are in the MASL 3, and the bunch that are also in the MASL 2 and the MASL 1 teams, they are the only brand, I'm almost 100% certain that they are the only brand that has been a member of all 3 stages of the MASL at this point, all 3 divisions of the MASL. And they're opening up their season. Yeah, I'll throw this out there because I don't know. I'm totally unsure how soon he's going to be back and how much time. I mean, I don't care how long this interview goes. I enjoy that. We're about 30 minutes now, and if it goes an hour, that's fine. or even more. But they're opening up their MASL 3 season on the 21st, this coming weekend. They're going to be playing Kalamazoo. This will be their first M3 game. M3 has already been playing. A number of the teams have already played a game or two. One or two might actually have 3. But yeah, it was the season. Okay, so Sharky here. Sharky's got some information here. It was season 12-13. They played in the All Sports Arena, which was the second to last season of the PASL before the merger. Okay. So yeah, because then as I recall, then the played in the Old Sports Arena, which was the second to last season. So the following season, I think the Chicago Mustangs won the PASL. Okay, we've got him back. So welcome back.
It's great to be back. Yeah, you had me. And it took me,
Gosh,
Mario reminded me like the second. Is it still working?
Well, I mean, I can hear you glitchy. It's glitchy though. I mean, I can still hear you. So let me sort of catch you up a little bit.
Yeah, I see that. It's just spinning.
Yeah.
Peter Sharkley. I'm not sure if you can even hear me, but yeah. The only player, coach.
Yep.
Owner
He also
to get traded by his brother in the history. Coach.
So that's
Peter Sharkley, and
here's another one from Sharky right here. Miss you, Dominic, in Vegas. Oh, we lost him again. Dang it. This has been such a battle. This has been such a battle. Oh. Anyway, gosh. Yeah, so the point that he's making is on his statement from Peter Sharkey. Peter Sharkey's association with the Las Vegas Legends is legendary. And he's a good friend as well. But that was what Dominic was talking about, that is that Dominic was the only coach in indoor soccer history to be traded by his brother to another team. Yeah, so that was pretty. Yeah, so what you were talking about, you were the only coach ever to be traded by your brother to another team.
Yes, my brother Mario. Yes, we came up with this.
I don't know if we're gonna lose you or not, man. It's all glitchy again. Right. Well, hopefully he's able to come back without losing us, or maybe you should redo that again. Sign off and come back on again. Maybe might be not a bad idea, if you can hear me, Dominic. Yeah, this is rough, but I'm going to stay with it. There are a couple, by the way, comments up here that I will put up as soon as Dominic returns, and we have some good stuff. Jim Spiegelhalter, you got a comment up here from about a half an hour ago, and I'm going to bring that up as soon as we get to that point of the conversation. And also Jim Lemley, I'm going to bring yours up as well as soon as we get him on a decent feed. But yeah, so that was my introduction to Dominic Scicluna and his family, his brothers, both of his brothers at the time were in San Diego. And then as Peter's pointing out here, after, I guess, the following year, this is the one Peter's talking about, the following year was in Chicago, and the Mustangs won it for the PASL. And I believe that was the last year of before the MASL started. And when you go back, I was looking the other day, I was looking back at some of the schedules and standings of the early years of the MASL, and it's really interesting how many teams have come and gone. You know, I mean, we look at some of the anchor teams, you know, like those that came from the MISL 3. I believe all of them are still around, but a lot of the teams have come and gone. There's been so many and I think, you know, I think also when you start talking to that particular conversation, it's just seems to be sort of part of the deal, right? I mean, we go back to the MISL, the NPSL, the AISA, it's like a number of you guys have heard me say before, it's a alphabet soup of failed leagues and teams included, because they, you know, and it would be fun. It would be really fun to have a lot of those markets come back. Looks like we've got Dominic back
Can you hear
again.
me?
Yes, I can.
Okay,
Yes, I
well,
can.
I'm calling you from my phone now, and that seems to be
Wow.
working. So,
Okay.
so not even the computer's working. Now my phone seems to be working, and I'm just gonna put it down. It's not as good of a camera, but I'll make it work.
Okay. I don't know, Dominic. I've been doing a lot of talking. What you need to do is you need to start setting up your story. But let me first throw this up there. Somebody's watching the show and wanted to say hello here on the screen. Can you see that? It's from Jim
Lemley. Hey, what up?
Right.
What up? Lobster, what up? Lobster's back in Rockers days, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, he's from the Detroit Rockers. Like I said, this is like the arena soccer is like an international highway, and so many people are putting in so much time into the arena sport. Don't get credit, and like even like, you know, like Mario trading me in Las Vegas is such an interesting time because there was such amazing talent there at the time, and I got to, like, you know, be there with you know, Tovar and even you know, there's guys on right now. Who's the captain? You tell me. Who's the captain of San Diego right now?
Craig Childs.
And then
Cesar Cerda is also a captain.
Yes, Cesar came from Vegas.
Right. There's a lot of players. I mean, Frank Tayu, Uzi Tayu. I think the Gonzalez brothers. I think Felipe and Juan Gonzalez. Sharky's watching, and Sharky.
Felipe, of course. Felipe's a baller. All these guys,
right.
Like the fact that we all. And for me, the reason what made Mario and I successful throughout all these years is like the.
Oh, we lost him again. Dang it! He's having such a hard time with his feet. I don't know who his carrier is or what server he's using, but he's sure having a difficult time. But yeah, the Las Vegas Legends. I mean, are you kidding me, Peter? This was, I mean, so much skill and talent came off of that team, and it was. I mean, big battles with San Diego, and then of course the distribution of all of that talent when the team went out of work or folded or however you want to call that. It would sure be nice, as I was saying a few minutes ago. It would sure be nice. Paulo Ruiz, yep, and Paulo Ruiz, absolutely. Sharky's getting some insights here. But yeah, as I was saying earlier, I think Dominic's coming back here. Let me see if we get him. He's really hanging in. He's really working it. You're really working it, buddy. I just hope you can stay
as persistent as possible, bro. There's a Japanese Jizo Kushin. It's have a continuing spirit. Yeah. I apologize to everyone that's listening. Why the internet just keeps kicking me out, but we're back.
So I've got a question for you before we lose you again. So this is from a friend and a viewer. He wants to know when. It says what is, but I think he means when is Detroit coming to M1? You guys have any plans of trying to make it back up to the first division?
Yes, we are working on that.
Dang it. Yeah, this might turn into something that's not watchable. I mean, I'm going to keep it up, of course. I'm going to keep, as long as he's willing to work on it. As long as he's willing to work on it, I'm willing to work on it. Yeah, hope you guys are both well. Thanks, Chip. But yeah, we're doing better than our internet. So hopefully, Jim, if you're still watching, hopefully he can answer that, respond to your question. He sounded like he had something to say about it, but I don't know. So let me go back. I mean, this is just for grins. So this whole thing started this morning about 2.5 hours ago. He came on about 30 minutes before our scheduled broadcast, which was going to be 10 o'clock Pacific time. And it was great. I mean, we had a good feed. And he was in his car somewhere, and we had a great connection, and nothing was too bad about it. And then all of a sudden, my audio dropped off. I could see him. Yeah, that would be Frank. Here he comes back. That would be Frank. That would be great to have. I'll mention that here in a minute. So as long as you keep fighting it, then I'll fight it with you, buddy.
I'm fighting with you, bro. I don't know how long it's gonna last before it kicks me out. I'll just tell you, all these guys, we've been really fortunate to be around some really talented people, which brings me like into that game in Del Mar Arena, which I have to go to, where Mario reminded me we were up against some forces that like no other. We spent 15 minutes in the box, man down. And Cheeky Cup, our player, and a brawl broke out, and the fans followed our goalie and punched our goalie in the face. It was some of the most exciting. These three Kahuna big MMA fighters said, "I heard you said that you would take anyone on." And I looked at them, and they were ginormous. And I mean, like 5 times the size of me. I said, I didn't say I want to take anyone on. I said, I will take anyone on. But I don't start. I said, don't start no stuff, won't be no stuff. And they were like, you want some, let's do this. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And there were such intense supporters for San Diego. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable.
That is a little over the top, but yeah, there's a lot of passion, and there's a lot of passion for,
I mean, those are some things that like the league's like, but you know what? I'm telling you, it's exciting. It is exciting, real times. And the skill level was so high back then, even as well. Mario and I went from, like you were saying, are we ever going to be back in the MASL 1? For us, it's just a matter of having the proper investor. And Mario and I have the competitors of ours that are filled with a bunch of people that either played for us as a youth and now are the directors of all the clubs. A flow at one point of their career or another, and give the people's kids come to us get training. So like have all set to do it. We've kept the culture alive all these years. However, the investment is no issue, and we're still working on some games. I'm not even sure if it's still working because it looks like it's a slow connection again.
Yeah, it's in and out, but I can make you out. I mean,
however, if you are tuned in, we apologize. Obviously, that the internet's working so slow.
So, Dominic, one thing I want to not miss is I want you to talk about your youth groups and youth programs that you are doing and working so amazingly with. Talk about your kids.
Well, the Waza Flow Club, Mario and I started a long time ago, and we decided to take the yoga, the principles of yoga and kung fu and jiu-jitsu and all the arts. And Mario traveled all over Europe to study and play. And I went to Brazil and spent some time and got my Brazilian football academy diploma, where I spent 4 weeks working with Carlos Pereira and Mario Zagallo, and I had to train Vasco da Gama and Flamengo. And I was fortunate to meet a man named Marcelo Gonzalez, who was the center back from the 1998 World Cup that played against Zinedine Zidane and all them. And I became friends, and I had this dream that I'd play in Brazil or somewhere one day. And even though I hadn't quite made it yet and was only an arena soccer player from America, I started hanging out with this World Cup player, and they made me run around the field for 2 weeks like a dog, not being able to touch the ball. And then we went to the beach, and I ran this, and I beat everyone on the beach on this run. They're like, oh, the American at least can run. And then I got to play in this small little game. And next thing I know, they saw I could play because of my arena style, like playing. And it fit in with some of the Brazilians with our Waza Flow Jenga style. And I was given an opportunity to play on a team called Estácio de Sá. Now, I'm not sure if this is working again, because it seems to be fading in and out again. However, that gave us an opportunity to really make some powerful contacts in Brazil. And Mario, through all his travels, and we were able to bring players from all over the world. And eventually, these players moved on and went on to play for teams like San Diego and other teams in the league, and to go on and to make a lifestyle out of some of the moves that we've made for people.
So
I'm not sure if it's working, Greg, because I can't hear you anymore. Are we off air, or is it still working?
I hear you fine.
I want to move this around a little or something, trying to get a better connection.
I can hear you fine.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad I kept rambling, because I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah, no, we heard you all the way through that. Go back to your youth groups, your youth clubs though. Talk about your kids.
Our youth clubs. Mario is the president of our youth club. We run a tournament called the Spooktacular in the fall. That's 280 something teams. Wow. And if we had more fields, we would have 300 to 400 to 500 teams. We bring 1,000 to 50,000 families to come in that weekend and fill up free hotel for these cities. And we're the only club that incorporates football, incorporate level, soccer, and I just returned recently here in Japan. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me or not, for the ISPA, with some of the top street ballers in the world.
There he goes. We kind of could tell that was going to happen, couldn't we? Yeah. So So as I was telling you, he came on with the telephone couple hours ago, and I could hear him fine, and then all of a sudden he couldn't hear me. So then he went to another location and signed up. It was a Starbucks, I think, because he was in his car, and he went to a Starbucks and he tried to hook up on their Wi-Fi, and then he came back online, and I could hear him, but I couldn't see him. And then I actually, what we're on right now is actually the third studio that I built this morning, to try to see if maybe getting a new link and restarting the whole thing might be better. And it was just there for the longest time. There was audio but no video. Then he came back, and we even tried FaceTime, and for some reason that didn't work. And then we went to Messenger and did an audio call or a video call, and that did work. So obviously his camera was working, but it's been like this. So I'm glad you guys are putting up with it and hanging in there with us. We're back. We got Dominic back online right now. So
our youth club, we're the only youth club that we make our kids do football, arena soccer, we tech ball, which is an air soccer, which is the soccer tennis. Soccer. We have our kids play in the beach soccer tournaments. We do speed and agility and offer all these specialty classes all year round. and my brother and I are like one of the only clubs that make our players learn how to wrestle and to do some of the martial arts aspect of things. My brother and I are big on that, and it's a little bit of a tough sell because we are also a track club and we're a basketball club. So we have become a social club, and we've had some interest starting a cheerleading group for the girls, the little girls, boys and sisters that are on the sideline that come to the game. However, you have to get the volunteers at the same time as a professional program where it can become sustainable. Mario and I are these tournaments and putting on tournaments that allow the kids to break the game down into its smallest parts. Mario just like, because we value, for us, pre-football, foot for us was arena soccer. Just straight up. Street soccer was arena soccer because you had to utilize stepping on the ball with the sole of the foot. And so we, at a young age, realized we had to become masters at my phone. This is again so fast. I don't know why I have to keep doing this. I'm sorry, man. This it keeps dying, and now I can't even hear these. I can't hear them. I'm not even sure if you can hear me.
I can hear you. I can see you and hear you. It's just it's in and out, but it just keep going and let.
So if you guys can hear me, basically,
yeah.
we were able to.
Nope, lost him again. Okay, yeah. So that's one of the things that he's been trying to get through us, and I mean, he's making a valiant shot at this. Is I knew that their youth program, the Wazer Flow youth program, is extensive, and he's got, as I think we understood him saying, over 1,000 kids that are involved in a number of different disciplines other than just soccer. I mean, he's got them playing futsal and on outdoor pitch, but he's also got them playing different sports, wrestling. I'm sure there's a little bit of some martial arts involved in that wrestling activity because that's one of Dominic's big things. If we can make this happen, and some of us have likely already heard this, but if we can make this happen, I'm going to see if I can't get him to be on long enough to explain what Waza Flow means, because I mean, I'm sure that everybody who's ever first been introduced to the team and the name, their first reaction is kind of what? I mean, it's a unique one, right? I mean, it's not an FC, and it's not a nickname, a normal nickname that most of us, like the name of a animal, or a soldier or a warrior or something like that. But it does have a connotation to the warrior concept a little bit, kind of. And hopefully, if he comes back on, we'll be able to have him explain that. I have heard him mention it before, but I don't remember word for word, so I don't want to actually step on that. I'm going to text him though, and I'm going to tell him that oh, there he is. Yes.
The internet connection is not very good. The connection's bad here.
Yeah, it's rough.
But I can still hear you. Can you still hear me now?
Yes.
Is the internet connection still working?
It's up, but it's glitchy. What I want you to do is if you drop off and you just get tired of it.
You can hear me. You can't hear me.
I can hear you a little.
If you guys can hear this right now, we actually, our youth program, we finally have our first youth player that has gone from.
Dang it. Yeah, I'm gonna text him. I'm gonna let him know that if this is getting out of hand, to text me and let me know he's done. Just bear with me. Finish if you want to, and just let me know. Okay. Yeah, so he's back. Good. Okay, hopefully this will work. I mean, he's been soldiering through this. You've been soldiering through it. Yeah, I can.
Okay.
The link,
It's just a poor, it's a poor internet connection. However, I will just pick up. So we have two aspects with our youth program. Omar, I'll fast forward. I'm skipping a bunch just because of the internet connection. However, Omar Biki is now playing for San Diego Soccer, which is the first player from our youth program to make it to the San Diego Soccer. Leo and Thiago Goncalves are our first international Brazilians that came in that also got signed. So like every player we've ever brought. So we've been on the same day with your staff. It's been like an amazing. When I went to Vegas, I was like, what the heck is he doing? But it's still a bunch of fluent people talking. No different the WWF or MMA, any of that. There's this element of selling soccer and in a way that's exciting and out of the box slightly at times.
Dang it. Yeah. And that's one of the things that's so unique about Dominic and how he goes about what he does with the kids and with soccer in general. It's a unique policy and a unique concept. We have him back again as long as we can keep him. So we have you back, Dominic.
Yeah, so it was a dream of ours to make sure that the kids can go from a youth developmental system where Mario and I apply tech ball, foot volley, because I played for the United States foot volley in a few international World Cups in Bahia. I played in Dubai. I met the Prince and all of them in Dubai. I was fortunate enough in my career to also play Drogba and Eto'o and Yaya Toure, Kolo Toure, Alexander Song, all these guys. And in Brazil, Mario and I took our first group of like 30, 40 people to Brazil. And we got to play and train against Vasco Domingo and meet Marcelo Gonzalez. We got our intercambio started of bringing players to and from the States to get scholarships to the universities and or professionally. Leo, who's still playing now with Omar to this day, is a product of all our beautiful stuff we've done together.
So what he's talking about is the movement of some of his players up to the top divisions, and one of them. Let me see if he's responded. What's going on here? Yeah. So here he's back.
Front window to try to attempt to get more bars on my internet. So I'm standing in my front window. It seems to be working, but I don't know how long it's gonna last for.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyways, our project, Mario and I have spent a lot of money that doesn't make a lot of dollars and cents. However, from a culture and from a way of life and from the family that believes in arena soccer, we've been the group that aspires to be like the Soccers. I'm humble enough to say that because of the financial ability to rise up the way it did through all the years of ups and downs and woes of soccer. However, Mario and I have also managed to accomplish this with a lot less resources, and that's kind of like we're like the project child, the guys from the ghetto that moved from Detroit and are now attempting to bridge the suburbs, the money mixed with the value of the artistic side of the sport, and then we are now moving into an area where we are educating players and everybody and everything has a place. And we're like one of the first clubs to incorporate some of the emotional aspects and mental aspects of the training, uniting your mind, your body, your emotions, and all of these things are a part of the way of training with Wildflow Youth. We were able to take this and also develop some, 3v3 style, 4v4 style training that we do with all of our youth club. I'm not sure if you guys can still hear me on this or not, because it looks like the connection's getting slow again. I probably have to plug it in again because it's about to die.
Okay.
Let me plug this in. All right.
So,
but
Dominic, one of the things I want you to mention is explain what Waza Flow means, what it is.
The word Waza, Japanese language, and it means technique. And once applied, it means to be skillful. And in Swahili, it means clearly.
Oh.
So to get in the state of the flow, state of mind, is to Mario and I apply some of the yoga principles to just the end of the energy, handle yourself before games start and everything else. We have a whole way that we take our athletes through to prepare themselves to be at their highest optimal state. That's why Waza it's not just a club or it's not just a brand of ours. It's a way of life, and it's a way of training that we are able to apply to any group or any culture. Like we could step into San Diego tomorrow and probably apply some things that would help because of how far down the line they already are, and because of their resources. And so Waza, any athletes that have ever played for us have a deep respect for us, because we're known as the tiki-taka type style guys, the Jenga guys, the guys that value not just the creative aspects, but we're known as being hardcore. We come at you with our full passion and energy. So defending and tactics, regardless of how I look, Mario and we've really, the martial arts has caused us to take every part of the game as equally serious.
Right.
And it's allowed us to pass this on to kids and people where, like, our story goes back as far, all the players I've ever played against and Mario's ever played against, we make ourselves students of all of them, which it puts us in a very unique place, because our ego is not as huge, because Mario and I want to adapt what's useful and then apply it to our program using the resources of time. And so Mario and I will never give up on being in MASL 1 or any of that. We just need a financial benefactor that sees the vision and what we have going on. And then, we're not even stuck to our Waza Flow name, even though it's a part of everything we do. Like the Detroit Rockers is a little more universal. Politics of things, people are like, oh, I don't want to support Waza because, just like the politics in San Diego. I'm too close. Empire and San Diego, they're two teams. Can I support them both? The answer is yes. There's a way to support them both. You can support this team and support that when you're over there, or when your family's in town or out of town. There's ways to just make sure it's all successful, and there's enough to go around for everybody. So Mario and I know how to engage our opponent, our so-called opponents. Mario and I have been successful because Mario knows everything about our opponents. I take a different approach. I know some about our opponent, like what I feel is necessary about our opponents, and then I focus completely on what I am here to do, and I don't focus on them. They're just bodies of energy that are in front of us that we're going to manipulate and dominate and get the results that we're looking for, because I don't have time for anything less than that. Very cool. Life's short. So we're here to dominate and demonstrate and elevate. I don't have time to date because it's a waste of time. I rap a little bit, but I don't mean to be rapping right now. But I don't have time to waste. So because time is very limited, I want my players to be efficient and effective. And Mario and I are constantly studying, learning, adapting, and willing to work with organizations to share players in all kinds of unique ways to create sustainable programs and projects.
Dominic Scicluna, we're going to close the show up. I want to thank you for being so in the fight to keep this going throughout the course of the day. You and I have been battling this now for about 3 hours, and we got about an hour on the screen here in a solid to get known, and I think you made the story known nicely. So I want to thank you very much, Dominic, for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you.
Yeah, maybe we can do one where I'm in a better place with a better whatever internet and everything.
I'd be happy to retouch it and do it again. I'd be happy to. But I'm also moderately pleased with how this came out. At least we got it done. I just want to thank you again, because right now you're stopped and I can't hear you. But I'm going to go ahead and close out the stream. Dominic Scicluna, head coach of the Detroit Waza Flow, MASL 3, and so much else, other things going on that he is a part of, and a man that I've respected since the day I met him. Thank you very much, Dominic, and hope to see you soon. Yeah, so that was kind of brutal, but I'm really stoked that Dominic was able to keep coming back in. I think most of his story was made known. I'm really excited to have brought this to you, and unfortunately, the technology of the internet isn't always perfect. And I appreciate all you guys who have stuck with it and come in and out and followed the story. It's a really great story, and a lot of respect for what him and his brothers, primarily Mario, have done to keep the Waza Flow, active in front of fans, not just the youth programs that they do and whatnot, and their own personal activities, of course, but to keep the team active and going. They bring a lot to the game of American indoor soccer and the Major Arena Soccer League and its family. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have a great day.